Hi, it's Lee. Working on this for about an hour, getting the adding working. Hopefully I can remember everything I did to share with you, um, and just discovering other little things along the way. Um, so math options is still lots of little things to do. This should make it easy right away to do subtraction and multiplication and things, but let's just look at addition for now. We really don't want them to be able to enter an answer until there's cards. Maybe we get to draw right away, or this doesn't show up until we hit draw instead of showing up when we hit arithmetic. That's probably what needs to happen. So little things like that. But anyway, so we add them together. 15, we hit check, and player one wins. Maybe we need to draw the red box around that. It does add it to here. So let's see, that's 13 plus 11, 24. Okay, so that simple thing, let's look at the code. So I'm trying to think of like little things I did in the HTML. I didn't have to work with. One thing I did was play with the size of the box. So this size is the length of the box, like how many digits you be able to put in there. I just made that smaller. I also gave it the class hidden, so it'd be disappeared at the beginning. We had that set up already. So in style, I just I guess we don't have to call that hidden. We could call this class hidden too. Anyway, little stuff like that. You keep fiddling with. I wouldn't have to say display none. Just give it a width. Just playing with it a little bit, just for looks. So I just did that right here. Okay, so in the script, I added player answer is what that input is called, but I gave the ID of the input, so I just made that a variable. And the submit button, I gave that the ID of submit. The check button. Last time I had added these addition, multiplication, and subtraction. Today I added the arithmetic equals 0, a new on-off switch for us. So this is all the same. So what do we want to happen? Here's one thing I added. When they click the submit button, I can just put this at the top of the page, so it's not something that's going to run through right away, right? It's going to wait until someone clicks on it. It's not even there right away. So I don't need to make sure it's later in the code. I can just put it up here. When someone clicks on submit, this is the code that takes that answer from the input. So this is the important thing for using input and actually taking something from that, making it a variable that you're going to use. So player answer is the value from player answer. So remember this right here with the $, that's jQuery. And that's the variable we defined at the top. That's the same as saying the ID of player answer. So that's what that means. Go to the ID of player answer and get its value. Now this trim is just something I've learned over experience, just from experience. If they put like an extra space in or something, to them it looks like the right answer, but to the computer it's like it's not equal. So it's just something that you can maybe get away with not having there, but eventually you might run into trouble if you're actually working with kids playing with this. And so then I run the function submit, so we'll have to find that down here. So that's all you do when you click on submit, you get the player's answer, and then we run our little code there. So this was all set up for us from before. Function submit. Okay, so right now while I was playing with it, each new function I made, I had this little note, like I'm running submit, so I could watch my code run, see where it's going, see where it's not going. So this is just, all this does is decide what we're trying to do. So I went ahead and set this up. What we're trying to do, if it's addition's on, then we're going to add math. If it's subtraction's on, we're going to do the subtract math function. Multiplication's on, we're going to do the multiply math function. And then we run math check. go find those things. So add math. Again, I just have all these notes in here which are unnecessary now that I have it running. But just to see what's happening. Because what was happening was the players' number of cards wasn't adding together. It seemed like it should have. And this was all working correctly. The problem was I wasn't turning off the regular code. So it was running the regular code and then running submit. Like it was already doing the compare. It already had run the comparing regular code from the regular war game. So I had to make sure I bypassed that like I did with the compare math. So I looked at what I did with compare math to figure out what to do there. Get to that in a minute here. So what I decided to do, we had a function called compare check. We don't want to have like a compare check and an add check and a multiply check. We want to combine things as much as possible. So I just changed compare check to math check, and then I just used this same terminology. Like compare check was going to say chosen equals winner. Instead of going back and like fiddling with the comparison code that was working and calling that player answer an answer or whatever, I just left it the way it was. So if the player answers correct, then the variable chosen equals the winner. So I just went ahead and used that terminology I had already set in compare check and just went ahead and used that. So to make it not equal if they chose the wrong answer, if they typed in the wrong answer, I had to say winner minus 1. That way chosen's not going to equal the winner. So you can get rid of all these things. Once your code's running, you don't need all your notes. But those notes are really helpful just for watching your code run. What's it doing? Where's it going? What's it not doing? So if you can see the answer equals this and it's declaring the right winner, but it wasn't giving me my cards, like what was going on. So that's what I used to figure that out. So this is just our compare checks. This is the same exact code. That didn't have to change at all. So for all that time, so the one other thing I did here was so when my cards, it was running the regular code and comparing them and declaring a winner immediately when I pushed draw. So I went to find compare, and so what did I do? I ran compare math and I hit return. So if arithmetic, I made up a button, an on and off switch for arithmetic. If arithmetic's turned on, then we just get out of this function greater. We're not going to compare them. And then when it hits submit, we don't want to run add math right away because they have to type in their answer first. So the submit button takes care of that. And then everything else just runs the same. I just added this on switch, arithmetic equals 1. And it runs from there. One last thing I fiddled with was the draw button. I had trouble with it. I didn't want them, it's something I played with. I didn't want them to be able to draw more cards while it was doing war, so I turned it off. Show you this. So at the end of the game, I turn draw off, so you can't keep clicking it and try to bring up more cards when the game's over. That disables it and doesn't work anymore. And the on doesn't work after that. So to be able to turn it back on, I use this. This is on draw. The property of disabled is true. So true, that's that Boolean thing we talked about. So then at the end of war, when war is over, we can have it work again. So this is like true, false. I mean, it's just turning on and off, like display none, display block, like you're turning things on and off. So draw, the property of disabled is then false. So then your draw button will work again. So that's something else I did just for quality of play. Lots more things need to be fiddled with, but we made good progress today.